A very good afternoon to everyone on this session of D Talks or Disruptive Literacy Talks. I am your host, Mashood Bhatt. And today, the focus of our discussion is going to be on the learning and foundational literacy and numeracy of the most underprivileged and the most marginalized children that we have in our society. Many children are, they do not have the good fortune of going to schools. वो स्ट्रीट चिल्ड्रन हैं, वो बच्चे हैं जो रेलवे स्टेशन पे रहते हैं, जिनका फैमिली का केयर और अफेक्शन और they are unable to have that as well, and these are the most vulnerable children, and a large number of such children are living today not just in India but in many other low and middle income countries across the world. So if we have to talk about universal foundational literacy and numeracy, it is very important कि ये जो vulnerable बच्चे हैं इन तक हम पहुंचे और इनके साथ काम करें. And today to speak on how we can bring these children into the fold of learning, into the fold of literacy, we have a very special guest, Mr. Brajesh Chaturvedi ji. He is the project manager at Safe Society. This is an organization that has a special consultative status with the UN ECOSOC as well. और ब्रजेश जी लगभग पिछले 5 से ज़्यादा सालों से यहाँ पे एक रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट को भी लीड कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे फोकस जो है वो है एक्शन रिसर्च के ऊपर. So it is not just about research which goes into academic journals, but it is something, the learnings from this research are implemented directly with the communities as well. So इस प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में और सेफ सोसाइटी के बारे में जो काम है उसके और डिटेल में बात करने के लिए हम ब्रजेश जी को वेलकम करना चाहेंगे. ब्रजेश जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर फाइंडिंग टाइम टू जॉइन अस हियर ऑन डी टॉक्स.
Good afternoon to everybody, and thanks a lot for inviting me on this important talk.
Thank you, Brajesh ji. आप सेफ सोसाइटी से जुड़े हुए हैं, एंड we were following the incredible work which you are doing, not just with vulnerable children, street children, but also with women, and there's a very integrated approach जो आपके organization का है. So अगर आप हमारे ऑडियंस को शुरुआत में थोड़ा बताना चाहें as to what is the vision and mission of Safe Society and what are the interventions, we would love to learn more about that.
Definitely इसमें हेल्प देने के लिए मैं चाहूँगा कि आप प्रेजेंटेशन जो है वो भी स्टार्ट करें.
बिल्कुल. यहाँ पे हम ऑडियंस, बिफोर वी स्टार्ट, ब्रजेश जी, आई वुड लाइक टू आल्सो टेल आवर ऑडियंस हु आर वाचिंग अस लाइव कि आप हमारे साथ आपके जो क्वेश्चंस हैं ब्रजेश जी के लिए वो चैट में शेयर कर सकते हैं. वी वुड एनकरेज यू टू शेयर योर आइडियाज एज वेल. ब्रजेश जी, द स्टेज इज योर्स.
As told by Mahmood sir, I am Brajesh Chaturvedi and I am program manager at Safe Society, and we deal with different thematic areas and an integrated approach on them. The basic one, I think bilingual will be the more appropriate way, Mahmood ji. Or English can go on.
You can go bilingual or English, whatever you are more comfortable.
Okay, thanks a lot. तो जैसा मैंने आपको कहा, हम लोग डिफरेंट थीमेटिक एरियाज में काम करते हैं. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज महमूद जी. इसमें जो विजन हम लोगों का है कि हम ये चाहते हैं कि जो डिफरेंट वनरेबल ग्रुप्स हैं वो सेल्फ सस्टेनेबल हों, उनके डिसीजन उनके हाथ में हो, और हम कोई भी चाहे जैसा भी उनका ओरिजिन हो वो अपने सारे के सारे जो अधिकार हैं उनको वो प्राप्त कर सकें और अपनी हैप्पी लाइफ को लीड कर सकें. इसी विजन को लेते हुए हम चल रहे हैं, और इसमें हम जो डिफरेंट थीमेटिक एरियाज पे जो काम करते हैं, दोज आर बेसिकली, फर्स्ट वन इज द चाइल्ड राइट्स, द अदर वन इज द वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट, द थर्ड वन इज द हेल्थ, एंड द फोर्थ वन इज लाइवलीहुड. We adopt an integrated approach for this one, and as all the things are linked and these 4 thematic areas are too much linked with each other, our approach is to work for the needy who are among the needy. I mean to say Antyodaya, the last one, Ant ka Uday, ye hum chahte hain. We filter the needy out of the needy, and anything which is problematic, which is having a negative impact on whole of the system, is having a highest impact on children. So the needy out of the most vulnerable are children, and out of those children are those children which are living on the streets, which are living in the slums, which are living on the major platforms. It can be a bus station or a railway platform. So we work more on them, and we work for the general children also. And we work in a research mode, and this research mode is not just to keep in the books. We utilize that research for our actions, and with through those actions we evolve it further. It is a continuous evolutionary process in which we see what are the findings, what are the feedbacks we are getting from the fields, and how to make it more strong, how to evolve it, and we continuously work for those. And we today's topic is on the foundation skills, on numeracy skills and literacy skills, and how to mainstream these children. We have worked a lot on them, so I will be talking on that in detail about how we do that. Next slide, please. The pictures, the photographs are in front of you. These are the most vulnerable, the most underprivileged children you are seeing. A child having a bag, a carry bag to pick the rags, and he is in the platform. A child who is just holding his hand, and it is in a very vulnerable condition of accident, and he is having a bag. We are used to such type of scenes. We see these situation in our daily life, but something has happened to our mind that we unnotice them. While seeing them, we don't we overlook them and we move forward, but sometimes in a way that we are not able to do something for those people. But too much can be done for such type of children's. More photographs you are seeing, such type of children's are just sleeping with their rag bags. They are just playing. This is just near to the platform, and these pipes are of railway platform, and it is a very dangerous situation they are facing. There is a complete denial of health, education, food security, future opportunities. These all basic need, the basic right of any individual or any child. These children are denied of that. So we work on them, and definitely foundation skill is too much important for these children to lead their life. Next slide, please. So how do we work? Basically, we started our work at the railway platform here, and we at Gorakhpur Junction railway platform, and we reintegrated 524 children with their families, and these children were of different types. They were running away from their homes, they were trafficked, they were just missed their way. So we conducted a complete detailed research on these 524 children, why they ran away from their home, or they got drifted from their homes. So out of that, various reasons came out, and one of the most prime reason was the improper parenting. भारत में शादियां हो जाती हैं, लेकिन कैसे बच्चे पालना है इसकी कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं होती. बहुत सारे देशों में इसके लिए बैन है कि विदाउट ट्रेनिंग आप शादी ही नहीं कर सकते, बच्चे ही नहीं पैदा कर सकते. आई एम ऑल्सो ए पेरेंट, एंड समटाइम्स आई फील दैट my parenting is also not too good. I also become agitated. So I'm also on the process to evolve myself, and we are developing a system that everybody should evolve, and we have to learn from the children, and we have to learn to deal the children, and many things can be done. फर्स्टली जो हम लोग इनकी चीजें करते हैं, जो आप देख रहे हैं फर्स्ट फोटोग्राफ में, बच्चे एक मेडिटेशन प्रोसेस में बैठे हुए हैं. वी और आप देख रहे हैं कि एक स्कूल का आपको दिखाई दे रहा है फोटोग्राफ. There the children are doing some activities while sitting at the chairs, and you are also seeing a field worker is interacting with these rag picking children, and in the next photograph, some children are doing some exercises. These are fun exercises. What we have learned out of the reasons why the children run away from the homes is, one of the prime reason is the our present education system, which is too much confusing, that is boring, and that is not interesting for the many of the children, and they get scolded at the school also and in their homes also. The parents expect something out of them if they are going to the school, but at the both the places they are not able to be at the level, at the standard, and these children run away from their homes, and such a situation comes in their life, that the no option is left behind, and they run away from their homes. So what we do, we provide non-formal education to them, and with the this what is this non-formal education which we provide to them? Just you are saying that field staff of ours is interacting with these children, so just we talk to them, and we do some art based process. We have developed a special process to engage the children and to de-traumatize them. There is too much trauma in everybody, in every human being, but these children are special to have it, the trauma. Too much is there in their unconscious and subconscious mind, and it reflects many times in their conscious mind also. So we de-traumatize them through the art-based process, and after that we include them in our non-formal education system. What is that? With the help of railways, they have provided us a space. The children's move them. Basically, the children's we are dealing, they are not happy to move at long distances. So it was needed that it should be at the place of where they are residing. They are residing near the railway platforms, on the roads. So this center is located just nearby that there, and they collect there. And what we do, we do fun with learn activities there. We de-traumatize them, and what we do, we make them learn the things. We make them learn the numeracy skills. We make them learn the foundation language skills, but unconsciously they don't know that they are being learned through a system which is a non-formal schooling system. Many of them are afraid of schooling system. So we provide such a situation that through cartoons, through cartoon films, through just action poems, through art-based process, through toys, through different games, they acquire the language skills, they acquire the numeracy skills, and they have a fun. They involve with us. They are just not a single-sided bombardment of information. They express themselves. So these are the various methods we adopt. We also link them to different government schemes. We provide other psychosocial support also, like we have created small groups, and according to their conditions, their psychology, their age cycle, we have different groups in which we talk to them. And in the art-based process, we find maximum things without talking even to them, and it is a reflection of their subconscious and unconscious mind also, and what are their expectations, their anxiety, and they do their catharsis also. So what I am emphasizing, how to mainstream these children's, it is not possible just by bombardment of the information or through books. We in the previous stage we had provided books to them, a comprehensive book system in which all the subjects were covered, but these children's maximum do not have a proper place to keep the books also. So what we did, we keep their things, if stationery is required, at our center, and we call them, and they come there, just have fun. During the fun, we teach them also. During the fun, during the game sessions, they learn what is the counting, how the subtraction has taken place, how the addition has taken place. Everything is through in a gaming system. Through the films they wish to see in cinema halls, we let them see some cartoons, and through them we get them learn. So to evolve, to firstly engage these children, because their psyche has developed a notion that they are out of society, they do not belong to society. So firstly we develop a empathy with them, that they are also part of society, and we involve the best students, best filtered students. We have got a radio station also, community radio station. We call these children there, they come there, they have their recordings, and we call the best students of the city, and we the through the talent hunt we mix these children with these children, and we provide the platforms to these children in different five-star hotels, the best hotels of the city, and they perform their different skills like singing, dancing, their mimicry, along with the best students or best school-going children of the city. So what happens? The empathy of the school-going children develop with these children, and many times these children perform better than the best filtered children of the city. And these what the art-based process photographs you are seeing, in which everything's which is in their subconscious mind comes out. Just you are seeing some circles are being drawn there through their, these are their some with their pen we get somewhat the neural path they are having. We tell them how to build a story, how to tell a story, and through those stories their story comes out. It is a very elaborative process. There are various steps to it. And in the photographs you have also seen we have trained through our trainer the railway officers also for performing these, and they were astonished to know that how the deep things can come out through the simple steps we take. And it is also important for the grown-ups also. It is not limited to the children's also, this art-based process. And these grown-ups can utilize also in any case of eventuality, in when they are disturbed, when they feel depressed, when they feel that too much anxiety is burdening them, they can utilize this art-based process. So these are what I mean to say. We need some therapy, we need some de-traumatization, we need empathy, we need mixing of these children with other children, with whole of the society, because they feel cut off from the society. So what is that? These are the steps we perform, and these children's out of doing these all activities, they get learned what we are talking about, the foundation skills, the numeracy skills, the language skills. But lot more is also needed. These are the skills which are needed to operationalize life, to run the life. But we all are programmed beings. We have got a software, the software of our mind. So their mind is too much traumatized. We de-traumatize them through these therapies. And what I am emphasizing, the foundation skills are not merely this literacy skills or numeric skills. The foundation skills are those skills also which should be inculcated in everybody along with these children, to have empathy, to have a social and emotional resilience. That is too much required. A research study says that maximum railway platform children are future criminals, because so much anxiety gets stored in their subconscious mind. So we de-traumatize them, we build this resilience in them. Everybody has some trauma, early childhood trauma, every human being. And the persons who will be knowing the deep digging process of counseling, a grown-up also cries out of that when deep digging process of the counseling is done. So there is no need to have the verbal talks through these processes. And in the turn, they also get the foundation literacy skills like this numeric ability, the language ability, and life skill also, that is social emotional resilience. Emotional resilience the trauma they are facing there in their life. Basically, they have maximum are from broken families, multiple parents, and they have got a stored anger for whole of the society, for authorities. They feel that they are notorious people, they beat them, they treat them that they are not part of the society. So a resilience step by step is developed in them. And out of that, during this COVID period, nobody has these children have not stealed a single article from anybody. Maximum people were facing different problems, but some people have a perception that these children are a thief, but not a single child has stolen anything during this COVID period also. And during the COVID period, we developed the resource children out of them. We talk to the parents. We also call the parents here at our community radio station. They also give their emphasis how this what their expressions are, and these children's were able to cope up, and these parents were also able to develop as a resource person when we were not able to reach to these children's, and they entertained, they involved other children's, and they perform the role of a resource person in our absence. And you are seeing the photographs how these children's, some children's out of them are balloon sellers, some live at slum, some live at in a so-called family. The children doesn't know who is the parent, but it is the child is living with some so-called family. Somebody is having a space, and the child is living with that family, and they are able to cope up. Now during the COVID period, they were advising the public what to do and what to not to do, and uh, they were advising what to do in particular festival time. So what I mean to say, if we will try to have a comprehensive way, we will deep take, we will go into the root causes, then we will be able to let them have the numeracy and uh, this language skills also. Because if they will be getting the numeracy skills, but they are not having the social emotional resilience, they don't having the resilience for whole of the society, then they will be doing some notorious work, as I told you before. So with the comprehensive union of this numeracy skills and the life skills, the empathy skills, the resilience skills, we are developing these children's, and it is also useful for whole of the children and grown-ups also. Definitely, numeracy skills, literacy skills are too much important, and if any child doesn't get it at the early age, it creates a lot of problem for whole of the life. But with that, my emphasis is yes, life skills are also needed. So it should be included into the foundation skills. There will be many speakers who will be speaking on the importance of the numeracy skills and how early the child should get it. So there is not too much to speak on that. So what my emphasis is, let us include the foundation skills, including social emotional resilience, including some therapies like art-based process and therapy, including some catharsis work for such type of children, and side by side with fun, with learn to have the numeracy and literacy skill. That will be fruitful, and the examples are in front of you. Yes, over to you, Mehmood.
Thank you, Brajeshji, for that very powerful presentation. And the work which Safe Society is doing is absolutely phenomenal. You're reaching out to the most vulnerable, the most difficult audience of children that you're working with. So really, really appreciate the work which you and your team are doing. I think two important points that you made is one, that we need to broaden our understanding of foundational literacy and numeracy. It is something which has to be associated with socio-emotional learning and life skills, or इसका कोई ऐसा सेपरेशन या ऐसे टाइट ब्रैकेट, दो अलग कंपार्टमेंट्स में हम इसको नहीं रख सकते, बिकॉज अ चाइल्ड विल only open to learning language and numeracy only once they're emotionally they are able to they are, be stable emotionally, they are able to be at peace and connect with what they are learning. So that's one very important point which you have made. And secondly, you also talked about how it's important to when we are working with vulnerable children, it's also important to understand as to what their background is. It is और ये pedagogically भी एक important aspect रहता है, चाहे वो कोई volunteer हो या teacher हो, not to treat all children as these standardized learners, because everyone has a story behind them, everyone has a very strong emotional background to them, so it's very important to address that as well. It's not कि math teacher का काम है सिर्फ math पढ़ाना है, science teacher और language teacher का काम है सिर्फ language पढ़ाना. So thank you, Brajesh ji, for sharing this perspective. You mentioned about the अंत्योदय initiative, जो कि रेलवे डिपार्टमेंट के कोलैबोरेशन में करें. So would you like to share कि this idea about children who live on railway stations, right? You mentioned कि आप गोरखपुर में इसका main project रहा है, but how big is this phenomena of railway children, of children who do we have an estimate, for example, कि कितने ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो गोरखपुर में या उत्तर प्रदेश में ऐसी सिचुएशन में जी रहे हैं?
Basically, there is not a census data for this one, and definitely the number is very big. A data in 2006 was given by UNICEF, but that was not supported by supporting data. That number was very big. In that data was 1 crore and 10 lakh in 2006. But if we will say that there is some data in census, there is some authentic data, we can't say that, because what I told you, that data is also not supported by some supporting data from where it is coming. So there is a lot more to be done. We all people see such type of children on railway platforms. During this COVID period, they are not there because they are not allowed to go. But before the COVID period, you can see, everybody sees some children is picking racks, some children are selling bottles, some children are selling tobaccos. So these are those children which are living on platforms. The whole structure, the life structure of a children is on platform. That children is sleeping on platform, having food and water there, some livelihood resource from the railway platform. So the whole life is on the platform, and their families are so-called families, if they have, or on platform. So that's why these are called as railway platform children. But they're surrounding the railway platform. Any big platform you can go and have a look. You will be finding some slums, and those families or children or street children which are on streets, they are dependent on railway platforms for their livelihood. Somebody will be selling some bottles, water bottles. Somebody will be selling some luggage items, chains. So this phenomena is very big, and these children are unseen children. Why I'm using this word unseen children? Because we see them, and we have our mental setup has become in such a time that we unsee them, even while seeing them.
Right.
And what is the future? One more important point. What is the future of these children? Either they can be criminal or laborer. It will be a very big luck of some children that from this vicious circle the child will come out. So it is a very important to work on them. Basically, it will be a liability on whole of the society if maximum out of these children will be criminal, or they will be in an unorganized labor sector. They will be there. So it is too much important to work on them and to work in a very deep rooted manner, in a psychological manner, in a very associated, in a very empathetical way, and to just to have our leg into their shoes, to understand their problem. Nobody runs away from their home in a normal situation. Nobody gets just early interacted by the traffickers. There is some, if bluffing is there or some lure has been done to them, so there is some situation to it. So we will have to understand it, and we will have to work on it. And the pedagogy which has evolved from that has a very good impact on the normal children also. We have implemented our art-based process on normal school-going children, and you are also seeing that the convent-going children are also doing crime, and very petty crimes. They don't have any materialistic shortage, but they are doing it because the shortage is at the point of psychological handling, and empathetical and emotional trauma is there. There is need to develop as a foundation skill to the resilience of social emotional resilience, uh, as a foundation skill is needed. Basically, what will evolve out of the learned people, if they have the language skills, if they have the numeracy skills, if they don't have, but they are traumatized and they are reactionary, and they are something, they are doing harm to the whole of the humanity and to the nation, while they are getting also the position, some position, but their mindset is that, so they will be doing some harm. We also see some grown up people who are at the good places, but they ultimately their works are not beneficial for whole of the society or nation. They are misutilizing their position place, and they are doing harm to the whole of the humanity or nation, but they are just involved in their uh, self involvement, self ego satisfaction only. So we will have to evolve the human beings. That's why the word foundation skill has to be broadened.
Right. That's a very important point which you have made, and a very strong case that you have made for this, broadening of the definition. The national education policy, of course, they say that by 2025 we have to achieve foundational literacy for all children in who are enrolled in primary education. But of course, when we work with the definition which you have provided, it becomes very important to relook at it again and make strategies based on that. One more question which we had was, like you mentioned, that these children have had a very difficult past, and they have that sense of, you mentioned that they feel as if they are always villainized, or they are notorious, the authorities are after them, chasing after them, right? So a sense of mistrust or distrust would be among these children when they have to interact with someone from outside. So in such a situation, how has your team approached these children? What strategies has your team used to build that trust, that initial empathy with them, to tell these children that you are good children and you can learn and you can be a good human being?
Basically, firstly we meet these childrens and we talk to them, and just small talks, not lengthy talks. And what I told you, the art based process, and your previous question was what you some elaborations about Antyodaya. We utilize that process there also. Through the art based process, it is at the first step, it is a engaging process. We engage these children in ourselves. It's starting is such in such a way that you are going into a new world. Just see everybody with a new eye, just like that you are seeing that person or a thing first time. It is so we make them to go into a new world, and everything which is in their mind comes out, and we drive them to a very defined guided path. We notice all the traumas, the all the problem areas, uh, and what are the positive aspect of the personality, of the individuality with the child is carrying, what are the core interest areas, what are uh, the bright spot of the psyche is there. So we identify them. So in this way we approach them, and our activity in itself is an engaging process. It engages them, they feel fun, they feel involved, they feel deep sense of healing while doing this activity. We have designed this activity in such a way, while conducting them, a catharsis of their subconscious and unconscious mind also takes place, and they, in the process, they get healed. So they feel peace, they feel solace. That's why they involve with these activities. Otherwise the approach is to just to give them some sweets, to give them some articles, but it is not a lengthy, long going process. We involve these children through our activity. The activity is so strong that they get engaged. They feel to be there. They feel peace there. They feel that something good is going on. Um, uh, and it happens through the art, involvement of drawing, involvement of mimicry, involvement of drama, involving of mock acting, involving of this story building and storytelling. Out of that story building and storytelling, they tell their story also. In the meantime, we don't say this is about you. They draw, and we, our therapist, interprets what this child wants to do in future, what the child is feeling, what his probable action steps are. Where we have we keep them through this process into their safer area. We find a safer space in his or her psyche. What is the positive aspect of the individuality is, the personality is, what the positive quality the child is carrying, what is the core interest area the child is having. These all are evolved from this process, and this process is so healing, and so child automatically gets engaged, and they step by step they move forward.
Right. Very, very interesting. And thank you for sharing that. It's very important for all our listeners also to understand that, when we are designing any kind of intervention, it has to, put the child or the learner's realities and their past and present right at the center of it. And your project is a very good example of it as well. I'm also curious to understand what is your experience with the officials, the railway officials. How important is their support, their collaboration important to make this project successful?
Basically, the space is provided by railways to us in where we perform this activity, and that place is in itself called Antyodaya. We have done a lot of advocacy. I have written letters to railway minister also, railway board also, for these children, because various things were there. They were lying on the railway platforms, and many pathetic thing. What you can imagine, everything was happening with these children. So through our advocacy, railway department prompt to do many activities for these children. So one of those activities was this Antyodaya Center, and they are in the process of developing the children park at railway platform also. They have the RPF lady constables, and the training centers have also started. They do have the training center, but that was not for the lady, the persons, the RPF persons. So that was too much needed. So they have taken step by step these to help these childrens, and strong advocacy is needed for this. And railway persons have provided us good support, as in the photograph you were seeing that they have taken the training also, and they were astonished to know that we were seeing these children from long time, but through this process, through these activities, many things can happen. So what we work, so their support is enormous. And adding to your previous question also, that what we work with these on in their Antyodaya process, our theory of change basically have a systematic approach. Firstly, they live very pathetically. They don't comb their hairs, they don't wash their faces regularly, take bath regularly. So there is an arrangement of that too at the Antyodaya Center. So these children go there and uh, uh, have a cleanliness phase there. So we first from physical, then to their necessary operationing, the operational skills of life like numeracy, that we provide with fun. Then along with these therapies, these all we do there. And the railway persons have seen this thing, and they are very helpful and they are cooperative. Recently, in during when the lockdown was opened, a health camp was also organized for these children in that camp, and the railways had done all the arrangements. The doctors, the medicines they have also shared. It was also shared with us, and the whole department was cooperative.
Mm. That's wonderful to know that there has been, support from the authorities as well for this project as well. Another question is that these children, given that they have a very unstable life, and like you said, that they might not have a permanent home, they might not have a permanent family to go back to, etc. So there's a lot of possibly unpredictability in uh, where these children will be tomorrow. There was another lady who mentioned to me that many of the railway children, they also travel on the train as well from one location to another, etc. So is that a challenge for your team? Is retaining the attendance of these children? Not that I mean, it is non-formal education, so is it more difficult to retain children and their continuous engagement in the non-formal education system, for example, in the project which you are doing, uh, as compared to, I mean, is that a challenge, and how do you address that challenge?
Basically, this challenge is more for the adolescents, that they were children when they were at the railway platform, but now they have become grown-ups. This is a challenge. But what we believe, that if what I was saying, that we all are programmed beings, we have a conditioned psyche. Through that conditioned psyche, we become, as a human being, then we transform into Hindu and Muslim and all those things, and we have a neural paths. We react in a particular way. We have habits which we interact in that way. So we believe that if we will add some positive into this subconscious and unconscious psyche of these children, then wherever they will go, they will do better for their lives, and they will contribute better for the whole of the society. So it is not a big challenge to retain those children, because they feel very good with these therapies and our other activities which are associated. They play the games, the group therapies, the group work, the other activities they do with us. But certainly in COVID period, what I told you also, that the transformation, the change in them is also visible. And many persons have noticed that the notoriety has become less. They are more positive. During COVID period, they were so much positive that that we will do some work, because they were not having any livelihood. Their whole space was lost. So everybody was having a problem, but the whole world of these children was lost due to the lockdown. So, but they were not negative, they were positive. And some adolescents have shifted to other places, and they are doing, you will be happy to know, they are working in industrial areas, in some shops, but they are leading a organized life there. And they are basically, they have a sense of freedom also. They have a peculiar sense of unique sense of freedom, that we are, हम तो अपनी मर्जी के राजा हैं, जैसा मर्जी वैसा करेंगे, जैसा घूमेंगे वैसा करेंगे. So we do the activities in such a way that you do this activity, and and you also enjoy the freedom. You will be happy to know that we also provide livelihood to the so-called or parents of these children who live in the slum or were living in the on the platform. So now they are doing a organized job. They are not dependent on railways now. Somebody is selling vegetables, somebody is selling fruits, and somebody is selling chow mein, and they are leading their life in a other way. They are not dependent on just selling water bottles and tobacco to the at the railway platform. And what I'm talking about, the children's are have moved out of the city also, and in within the city also they are working in some factories, some shops. We had provided the painting training to them also, because out of research this came that the most of the painters move out from this Gorakhpur and surrounding districts, and they go outside and do work as a painters. So what our objective here is to find the creativity. In a nutshell, you can say it is a objective of whole of the human scientists to develop the right brain, because that right brain is not so calculative. That is a having a positive approach, the human approach, the empathetical approach. The creativity is more in the right brain. So we try to identify the what is the creativity, what is the this individuality is carrying with in itself, and we identify that, and we link that creativity with some work, with some training, and in a sustainable way we make them into make these children to earn from that. What we are doing here at the radio station, we are developing them as a junior radio jockeys. So they are getting the training and they will be earning handsome when, at being a jockey. Somebody is developing as a singer, somebody is developing as a mimicry artist. So anything which is related to creativity, it expels the negative sentiment, it expels the anger, the stored anger, the anxiety, the reactionary attitude, the rebellious attitude, and to revolt in a negative way, to become a criminal. So we identify that,
Right.
and we link it with the sustainable. We link it with the numeracy skills to count the things properly, to have a proper language, and to earn from that. It becomes
Hmm.
sustainable. This is our approach and way.
Right. It's quite remarkable, and I'm sure that the feeling of satisfaction which you and your team would get when these children go ahead to different parts of the city or the state and do well for themselves and their parents also. One final question from my end before we take some more questions from the audience. You talked about action research. And many of the organizations that are part of our networks or our stakeholder groups in Detox are also organizations working in either in education or grassroots organizations. What would your message be to them in terms of action research? Why do you think is action research important, and what is your methodology of research? How do you identify which are the important questions? If you would like to share a bit more about that aspect, please.
Basically, what I think, and at our organization, we believe that without research, the things do not take proper shape. There are various studies regarding these railway children also, but we did our own research. We did our fresh research and utilized the data and research, the reports of old one also. But it was needed what the fresh is going on. Firstly, our country and our state is having a very huge population. You cannot get the results with just implementing the things. We will need to have the hotspots where we have to hit, with what method we have to hit. So it is only possible, firstly, if we do some research, and we will have to choose a topic on which we have to work. Then our approach is we go to the bottom line. The any group which is involved in that research should have the bottom of the pyramid involved in that, because the maximum effect is of the negativity is on them. So we identify those people. As we identified these children on railway platform, we interacted with them, and just we prepared a questionnaire, and we evolved step by step, evolved that questionnaire, broadened that questionnaire also, and step by step we did the things. And after the analysis of the data, there should be some handsome quantity, then the thing will come out. As I mentioned, 524 was for the whole quantity. But after getting 100 children and their different indicators, what are at which age they left the school, what was the reason according to their verbatim, we reached to their families also randomly, and we inquired, we to their parents also, we analyzed the economic and social condition of their families also, what is the background. So we included these all things into our indicators, and out of those many things came out, that where the problem lies, what are the factors of the problems. And after getting the factors of the problems, we got the magnitude which factor is affecting most. So behind that factor, some cause will be there. Our next approach is to find the root cause. Ultimately finding there are various elements, various factors which affect a particular reason or some indicator. So we try to find out the root cause of that. And after finding the root cause, then we search for the solution from whole of the world, what is going on about this cause and what to do about this cause, what will be the innovative ideas, and get the feedback from those people, what their wishes is, what they want, how to get their problem solved in their way. Basically, if we will be imposing something on them, then it will be very good, but maybe it will be not so much acceptable. So to involve those children in our the solution process is too much important. So in that way, then we find out the solution process and we implement it. After implementing, some feedback comes out of that, how much positive it is, how much negative it is, how much effective it was. Then the next stage comes to re-evaluate what we have done. So in this action research process, this makes a cycle, a continuous cycle. Just you implement the things, what you have found through your research, implement and make the effectivity, check the effectivity of that, what become less, what become more, what is the best practices out of that, and again implement it. And again, next, this steps further goes on. So in this way, this cycle goes on, and we step by step work on different factors which is contributing to particular problem. So it is too much important. Basically, a population of 23 crores is, and we want to implement it with a, I think, without not having a pinpoint shot, then the effect will not be there. Under our research, we found that the Kushinagar are having maximum traffic childrens, and the runaway childrens are maximum are coming from Maharajganj district. Seasonal variation is minimum in Maharajganj district. In every season, the children are being trafficked from those or getting run away from those. So a constant problem lies at the Maharajganj, and the maximum amplitude of traffic problem is in Kushinagar. This came out from the research. So then we can act there. So a continuous evolution, that's why we call it as an action research project. We are running it, and this approach is quite handsome, and it provides results, and it provides a platform for multiple dimension of activities, and it leads to what I'm talking about, a successful, replicable, and scalable model.
Right. Thank you, Prajesh, for sharing this experience of action research. And I think it's very important for every organization, no matter what scale you're working at, to make your decisions and policies informed by research and evidence, and make interventions based on that. So I think that that's something which all of us can definitely learn a lot from. Towards the end, we would like to take some questions from the audience. So I'll just take some questions on the screen, and then after that, Brajesh, you may respond to the questions here. So
Definitely,
uh,
definitely.
yes. So one question we are getting from Trisha is, I appreciate your efforts being taken towards children on the street. My question is, how is the government helping you in your endeavor? We have another similar question as to how social protection programs of government affect these children or benefit these children. And maybe one more question we can take here from Urvashi, who is saying, "How do you support the parents?" So I think you've already answered these some of these questions to some extent in terms of the railway officials and the parent skill development. Would you like to add anything to answer these questions here?
Basically, what I will like to say, evidence-based advocacy is needed. Basically, at the government level, they get confused, and they are working. They do have various schemes, but the evidence supported advocacy at every level is needed. Then they come forward, uh, their confusion become less, and they support. And definitely from every section of government in the primary stage, it will be difficult to have a support, but we will have to find out which are the bright areas. Definitely bright areas are there, and we can start from there. So we get the support from government, but we will have to approach there. We will have to identify the bright spots. And regarding children's or regarding women's or any issue, there are many various factors. We have to not to stick to a single factor. If the bright spot is not coming at one factor, we can approach the another factor and we can proceed. We should not stop. So the process goes on and the helps come. The regarding social protection schemes, the question is there. Yes, we are in the process of convergence also. We are supporting the parents also and the childrens also through the various government schemes. So we have enrolled, got registered these children in schemes, and we are doing pre-work for that. The COVID has affected, but we will have to definitely approach the UNICEF persons are also there, to them also and to different departments. And it is best when the a compiled list of all schemes we get from the offices, from the government offices, but sometimes it becomes difficult to get that. But we will have to approach. There are various schemes, and the convergence is a step by step process. If we will be able to add 2 3 schemes with the single children, then the scene will change, definitely change. But some, just like if we will be adding some childrens with the schools, but they are afraid of schools, so we will have to bridge the gap first. Firstly, we will have to go through the non-formal education system. So that we are doing here. Firstly, providing them non-formal education, preparing them for the schools. Then we have get them registered to in the government scheme, the Bal Vidyadhan Yojana. And when in I think in few months they will be in the schools. And what the negative part they feel in the schools, we will deal them in the after space after the school, if anything is there. But we make them, equip them, these childrens, in such a way that what they feel negative, they will cope with that. So definitely social protection schemes uh, are too much utilizable, and that should be adopted for any work. And but in a step by step manner it is possible, and results come. Parent support, I have already told you, we also provide the psychological support to them, medical support to them through medical camps. We also provide them livelihood support to them. Livelihood support, we were not providing previously, but after the COVID period, it became the first option for us. Basically, it was not possible for our organization for longer period of time to provide ration support to them. So we provided livelihood support to them. We analyzed what they can do, because they had done nothing else being under railway station and dependent upon the railway station. So we analyzed what their experience is, what their liking areas is, what is the feasibility of action they are proposing to do, what is the location where they are doing to do something. But those small micro businesses we have started with these people, and they are earning their daily bread through that, and many of them are flourishing also. So we support the parent, and now they we call these parents at our radio station also. They speak there. They even so their catharsis also happens. They're feeling that nobody listens to them. It abolishes their voices, their unheard voices goes to the society also, to the authorities also, and the perception about these people also changes when they come at our radio station. So there are different ways how we work with the parents also. We also talk about how to deal with the children, let them support in a different way, how to uh, make them to be at the positive side with a fun attitude, not in a scolding way. These all things are also being done. We also make them aware about the trafficking. We also make them aware about the negative effects of the intoxicants. So these all things go on side by side. And as I told you, comprehensive action is needed. If everything is done, but the children or the parent takes too much intoxicant, then all numeracy and all literacy and what the foundation skill we have provided, that it goes in vain. So but through social emotional resilience, it happens that the parents step by step get less involved into that activities. So it is a comprehensive action, and we are doing with parents also.
Thank you so much, Brajesh, for answering these questions. And one thing, when you were talking about, that when we are talking about, literacy and numeracy, there needs to be an approach such that, the child is not just, forced to, ये पढ़ो, ये आ आ ई है, ये अक्षर हैं, ये numbers हैं, and teaching them the operations, teaching them about addition, subtraction, because these are abstract things, and then emotionally there's so much which is already going for them. So here I would like to share with you, as well as the audience members who are watching. We have experimented here with an approach to literacy and numeracy, because many of the children that we also work with are children who are not in full-time education. They are either street children, or they are adults who maybe have gone up to class 3 or 4 and then have had no education after that. So and generally with adults as well, we see that they don't have time, and a lot of times they don't see the importance of literacy. Like itna अगर हम इतना टाइम जिंदा रहे हैं, लिटरेट हुए, इलिटरेट रहकर भी, तो आगे भी रह लेंगे, राइट? So we took this approach where, instead of telling learners what is akshar, what is literacy, what is numeracy, we used an approach where we would just facilitate them to use their own existing knowledge about language, about words, and build akshar gyan through them. So I wanted to show you and our audience a very short video on the experiment that we did here at Global Dream.
कितने साल के हो?
18।
क्या है? नहीं पता। ये क्या है? नहीं पता।
Are you able to hear the audio of the
Yes.
video? Okay.
Honor. आ बत्तख ब
इन दोनों को मिला के क्या हुआ?
आ ब
देखो
आ ब
हाँ, चित्र में क्या बना है?
बत्तख
और ये क्या बना है?
सपेड़ा
तो ये बतख से क्या? बतख का
ब
सपेरा,
सा
ब और स को मिला के
ब सा बस
ये
पतंग
ये
रस्सी पा
और र स ई।
रा
तो प और र को
पारा पारा पर गाड़ी रस्सी
तो शुरू किससे होता है?
घा रा
हाँ, तो घ और र को मिला के
घा रा घर
ठीक है।
तरबूज
हाँ, और ये
केचुआ
It is really nice. I will like to share what we approach we adopted for the
क्या
adults
है?
here, for
ये दूर
parents,
से तुम्हें क्या है?
for the numeracy and literacy skills. During what I told that we provided them livelihood support, and during their work they were facing difficulties in calculating in the money. So we adopted the, you are not able to calculate properly, let's do some work and do it in a very game way, and we make them learn the this numeric ability was inculcated in their minds. So they were not able to deal with their customers properly, so we implanted some words in their mind that use these words, then you will be able to sell the things properly. So they adopted those words, they removed the harsh language, the odd language, and they adopted some positive language word. So we utilize their real life situation to learn the numeracy and literacy language skills. So this was the approach for the adults, and similarly through to children's we adopt the approach of fun with learn. What they are facing, we let them learn about colors and the pronunciation of colors in the real life. They are at platforms, which color the wagons are. So normally then they know about red. So their real
Right.
life situations, and in a play way. So for adults the real life situations are too much important, and for the children's the real the games way, the fun with learn way is too much important.
Absolutely, and I think we also have a similar experience here as well, where we see that when learners are we help learners associate with objects, real things, like you mentioned, train, right? Train se lal rang aaya. So similarly, when we start with the images and the words they already know, they might not be able to read train जैसे लिखा हुआ है, रेलगाड़ी लिखा हुआ है. They might not be able to read the word, but they know it's a train. So they already have that knowledge. And when we ask learners through teach learners through questions, through asking them and not telling them the answer immediately, that's what we observe. They are able to learn much faster and become very confident. So here in the video also, like you saw that the learner knew those objects, but he did not know how to read. But was able to form, 10, learn 10 akshars and 6 words in a very short time. So I think it's very important, like you mentioned, to help learners connect from their environment and learn, using their existing knowledge as well, so that they get more confidence. On that
Definitely.
note, Brajesh ji, thank you so much for joining us, for giving us your valuable time. You've shared some very important perspectives, very unique perspectives here at Detox. And you talked about a very important section of our children, which often are invisibilized. Like you mentioned, they are not at the very center of our agenda always. They're not at the very center of our education policies often. And you talked about these wonderful initiatives which your team at Safe Society is doing: the art-based intervention, the RJ intervention, the skill development intervention. And we really hope that all who are watching live and who will be watching this video in the future learn from these initiatives, and also learn to kind of replicate and scale these in different parts of the country. So Thank you again, Mr. Brajesh Chaturvedi ji, for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for providing me this opportunity to share our things with you people, because we believe that sharing positive things brings more hope. And in this COVID period, it is too much needed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brajesh ji. And thank you to all members who are joining us live. We'll see you in the next session of Detox tomorrow. Thank you.